we are live. You can start now.
Hello and a warm welcome to another session from Enagery on gender and sexuality. Before I start, I would like to tell a little bit about Enagery. The word Enagery means love. It means unconditional love and it signifies bond of love. And it is this bond of love which brought back Milind Datta, the founder of Enagery from USA, to start a non-profit organization in 2018. The organization engages and promotes numerous initiatives that strives for social change, honing leadership skills and building entrepreneurship capabilities in the Northeast, including Assam, are to name a few. For a few years, we have been engaging in various sessions with speakers from different arenas to create awareness among people working in this region about gender and sexuality. So today, we are in conversation with Anaya on the topic navigating the paper trail of a trans woman's documentation journey. So, Anaya is a dedicated postgraduate in biotechnology from Guwahati, and she's currently contributing her expertise in the vibrant landscape of Bangalore, Karnataka. So, we welcome you, Anaya, and we look forward to finding a way through this documentation process of a trans person's journey. Welcome, Anaya. Over to you.
Thank you so much, Meenakshi. Thank you so much for giving me the space to talk about the process that I would like to go through during the documentation. And I would like to share the problems or the issues that I had to face. Maybe that may help for other people in navigating that. Am I audible now?
Yes, Anaya, you're audible?
So, first of all, I want to share my own journey. Like, for example, if I have to share the documentation from the page videos, for every trans person or equal person, if they wanted to change their documentation, they have to undergo a process. That's all here, from Aadhaar, PAN to all those document officials. During the process, for some people, it takes a lot of time. When they can't find a way, and luckily I was privileged enough to get an assistant from a lawyer in Guwahati, and also one of my friends. So she helped me during those government officials communication. After that, during my education struggling, I'm still struggling to change the documentation bit better. I currently manage my master's degree and my birth certificate. The other documents are on the way. Hopefully, get resolved soon. So that is one issue that we lack instant resolution in something. And for that process, we have to undergo a lot of questions coming around. For example, if you go through changes in any university or any colleges, we are often asked about why do you need to change this documentation and all. If you an affidavit from a group. The problem here is not with the documentation and affidavit. You can always provide affidavit, which is provided by the government during a job interview or anything as such. But the problem is in online portals, when we apply for the jobs and all, there is no such space to paste the affidavit form, affidavit is document. So basically, that is one of the main issues we are facing. Yeah, so even in company sector, corporate sector, if you are providing an affidavit, most of the people are not aware of that. So I think awareness is one of the things we should indulge in corporate sector. So yeah, better to change it. We need to change it. Am I audible, Meenakshi?
Sorry, Anaya, I lost you for a second. Can you repeat that?
I was saying about the process of the documentation in corporate sector, like what the changes we have to do, for example,
Right,
the basic, yeah.
right. So Yes. So what kind of changes you want from the corporate employees or the people who are hiring in the corporate or the HR whom you face, like, before you enter the corporate sector? So what kind of problems do you face or you think the questions or, what is insensitive? Like, what change would you like to see?
Basically, changes, for example, we don't want a definite what we call a treatment. Like if you're hiring someone, like we're for someone, you will hire on the basis of their talent or on the basis of their skills. You don't hire someone on the basis of gender. So I think that should be the priorities of some HR management that they should understand. And when they are hiring, if they are providing an affidavit, I don't think there should be any questions like, have you undergone any surgeries yet or kind of that, which people usually ask because of not having a gender neutral washroom in a company sector or gender neutral sector. So these are the questions they are going to ask. So I think instead of asking those questions, management should provide gender neutral washroom for every individual, like where for, so that they don't have to ask the separate question because I don't think a surgery has to be, you know, like a surgery has to be there to provide the etc. And I think an HR should maintain some parameters. When you are great for, you should make the awareness in your own sector. So you should have awareness. They don't face any sort of discrimination. For example, I was once hired. They gave me a card, so my own documents. I hired. They did my I'm leaving a transfer. They don't know about all these things. And because it was an online interview and all, and I see your during the interview, I didn't have to mention about this thing because they are asking me on my skill set and so I was hired. They gave me all those what we call ID cards and everything they posted. But once I went to their office and I provided my certificate and all, there were some questions. And it was not from any other small company, it was like Aditya Birla companies. So there was a question like, have you undergone any surgery yet? So I didn't feel like answering it because it was not necessary for that purpose. So then they mentioned that no, we have to think about it before hiring someone. But what is the that you hired me on the basis of your requirements, and I already fulfilled the requirements of you have. So I think then it was like I felt that way. I felt it was not respectful enough to some company where I have to undergo these questions and all. So I denied that promotion. Then I'm working on another company as of now. It's a medical advisor. So like when I was hired, there was no questions for regarding all these things, and I was hired in my skill set. I think this part of this, you know, parameters should be followed, and which I faced during those interviews.
So, I understand. I think what you're saying is extremely, it's like perfectly correct because there is no need to know whether a person has undergone gender affirmative surgery or not to assess your abilities or capabilities or while employing you or while you are there as an employee in the company. So,
Yes.
this sort of question is absolutely irrelevant. And and yes, there should be gender neutral washrooms. Unfortunately, in many MNCs, we do not find that. Yes. So so do you like to come out as a queer person out straight, or would you like to be like not no not would you like the company to not talk about your gender identity while you're in the company, or do you want the HR to like keep it confidential what your gender is, or like should it be like that, like because different people feel differently? So what do you say on that?
I don't have any issue with all this except like, should I come out or not? I don't feel like that. Like, I have come out that way before like, it's feminism and all, but the problem is they look differently. Like there will be a sort of questions coming out. Like when you are coming out in a company, uh, how the perspective comes differently. Like, there will be questions like, this is sad that you need to go through this process and things and that. I especially don't like this kind of attention because uh, not every people are like have gone through the similar journey, and most of them they don't talk about because talking about this creates a trauma, and I don't feel like talking about these traumas again and again. So I don't have any issue with coming on or people knowing me as a trans person and all. It's not an issue like that. But the attention which they're giving after knowing that you are a queer folk or not, I don't like that kind of attention. I don't get myself.
Yes, it's unfortunate that for some people they don't come out, and then it becomes difficult for them. Okay, fine. If you don't come out, nobody knows, and the question does not come in. So, did I lose you, Anaya, or you're there? Anaya? Yes. Yes. So, after people come out, it becomes difficult because people started probing into like matters which are not their business. Like, to know all this stuff has nothing to do with your IQ or intelligence. So, that kind of questions should not be like asked by anybody, be it the employees or the colleagues or anybody. So, are there any provision for equity and diversion? I think we lost Anaya. So,
I'm really sorry. I need to benefit this.
yes, you're audible. Okay. Okay. So, Anaya, my question is, are there any policies in the company? Like the Indian government has so many acts for gender equality or policies to prevent gender-based discrimination. So, is there any part in the because you have worked in a corporate, I'm asking this question, is there any part in the corporate sector where there's a dedicated section which works for equality, diversity, or inclusion? Or is there a training or program in your corporate section where they say how to what is insensitive to ask for a queer person, what should be asked, what should not be asked when it's like entering into their privacy? So is there a session which creates awareness within the corporate sector, like in between
Yeah, I
somewhere?
understand the point. Yes, yes. So I think in every corporate sector, there should be an like awareness section and sensitization about the queer folks. It's not like you have to write it about, but at least there should be basic knowledge, like these are the section, what will mean LGBTQI, and what are the terms and terminologies. So what are the right pronouns that you should use for a queer folk? I think this awareness or sensitization, it should be there in every MNC. And also, I have seen in most of the section, MNCs and all, that it is not POSH. Like POSH is the prevention of sexual harassment. So I think this should be mandatory for every, so that it's not only about for any kind of sexual harassment. So I think this should be a mandatory act, which we should indulge in every country.
Yeah, I'm not talking about POSH or the Vishaka guidelines. So if you see the
Mm-hmm.
Vishaka guidelines, yeah, and if you are aware, the Vishaka guidelines which are available in India protects more of the rights of women. If you see it,
Mm-hmm.
it particularly does not protect the rights of men also. So it is dedicated to prevent sexual harassment or sexually colored comments or any kind of sexual advances in in the workplace or people who are working with a company, even when they are outside the company, they are to be protected according to the Vishaka guidelines by the company because they are like, under the company's policy. But then, is there something for like, the people from the queer community?
I
Like, did you find
unfortunately I
anything?
have not seen.
Yes, yes.
Unfortunately, I have
Because
not
we
seen any kind of, yeah.
Yeah, so I think that is what we would like to see, right? Protecting the rights. It's there. There's one thing to have the law, and there's one thing, another thing to apply the law. I think we are not seeing the law being applied despite having all of them. Do you think so? I can't say all of them. We have laws, but then do you think it's not being like applied into everyday life?
Yeah, yeah. I absolutely agree. Like there is law, but I think they are applying those laws in corporate sector in most of them. For the country which I'm working with now, there are posh laws and there are some sectors. They have the gender neutral washroom as well. Although most of them they don't use, but there is sectors like gender neutral washrooms are there, and those laws are there. So I have not seen this kind of sectors in different countries. Like I have been working for last 1.5 years, so doing that, I have not seen this kind of acts or their applied to it or there is awareness. No, nothing like that. I think it should be there. If it is there, and awareness and sensitization, which is there. If it is there, I don't think most of us will face such kind of discrimination.
So, can you tell me a step by step to simplify it, how you did your documentation? Like in a simple way, just like a simple way, so that if somebody is like going through this phase, they can help it in a simplified step by step, like from where to start and what is the ultimate, like when you get your card, TG card. So that's the ultimate,
Yeah.
right? Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So can you tell the step by step, like, how did you start, like in your journey, from where it started and how did you get everything?
First of all, I really wanted to thank one of my friends to help me on that journey. Unfortunately, she's not there with us, but yeah, she has helped me with the journey. We lost her in a accident. So I think we all need some. Sorry.
Our heartfelt condolences for that. Like, sometimes you lose a life and it's very painful. Yeah. Yes, please.
For example, what are the first step? You should went to a lawyer. You should seek help from her so that you can get it activated. Where it states that you are going to change your name or gender, it's given by the court. So first time, then you have to publish in a newspaper article. That is the second thing. After that, you can apply for your PAN card, voter card, or your Aadhaar card. Unfortunately, I didn't have Aadhaar card at that moment, so for me it was not more easier to apply for Aadhaar card because I was applying for the first time. So I first changed my PAN, then I went for that option. So for other option, you need some how we say, I had authority. So I went to some person and they made me sit like, and maybe you should if I go through that procedure. So during that procedure also, I can show that loyalty definitely was one of the things that I had and the pen card I had. So now so it's not more easier. You can change it in online also. You don't have to run for the officials in your area. It takes a lot of time and patience. Obviously, it takes a mental toll also because we will be asked so many questions. Right? People are not aware. Basically, people from countryside like me, if I'm going to change my documentation, I don't think they understand this thing. So for me, it was literally like I won't say it's an harassment, but it was like they're not even willing to understand it. So I can't blame them entirely because they were not aware. Awareness were not there. So although but they helped me someday. So it was there. Once you change all those problem officials, if you want to go through the education, academics, I think changing academics document is one of the toughest thing I have faced. If I have to do for my master's I did, I'm still struggling for my class 10 and class 12 certificates, which is not the is from SEBA board and all, from our state board. So I think it takes a lot of time for changing. And I think we should get some sort of help in giving that changes faced and I'm still facing issues about the rest, as I told you, like the first priority is the efficacy. Then you have to change your PAN card. Then you have to, before PAN card, you have to make it in a newspaper, like publishing a newspaper, not publish. Yeah, there will be gadget certificate, I think it's called. So that are the first three primary things. After that, you can change it gradually according to your needs.
Okay, so what were the I can't say discrimination, I can say hurdles you faced while doing this, like, and at what points? Was it from the government level, or was it were people deliberately making things difficult for you, or asking for documents which are not even relevant and they just want it? I don't know why. So
Yeah,
did you feel like that? Like,
yeah,
can you tell me examples of that?
sure. So while I was changing my PAN card, so there was one lady, she where I had to go and apply for the campus. She asked me my surgery certificate and all. And I found it so irrelevant because I don't think it's related to any of these things. When I'm providing you certificate and the gadget, questions are like, I thought about my network is literally unstable. I'm very sorry for.
It's okay, we have you, so I can hear you. You can continue. Yes.
So that was the thing I had faced, like, which is not even relevant. It's being asked why do you change the village. Surprisingly, while I was changing my birth certificate, that was the last document that I had changed, and that is from my village. I was born in a village which is far away from Assam, like next to Assam, 15, 14 hours away. Very native village, very conserved and all. So while I was changing my birth certificate, I was mentally prepared that I have to undergo so many issues because people are not aware of this. But basically, the person who was actually was I was asked me why do you want to change whose birth certificate is it? Because this is not your name, is it? I knew it that I had to mention every single detail of the transition everything. So I was completely different. So I told him I do 1 hour or some moment of sleep. If we're free, then we can have a conversation. And then he agreed to that. I think okay, and like the way he tried to, and although he was not getting all these things like HRTs, sex reassignments, and he was not getting those terminology. All he knows is the marginalized community, which so we don't know much about Transwomen and all like that. So I was making him understand by my own native language that I got. So I was making him understand and with that language. Surprisingly, he was a very good listener. He was trying to understand. And after whatever the comment was like, you have become a successful person, so uh, I, I want you to to all of these. So I help you out. And this is the first case in our case. So it may take some time, but I will actually help you. So he was not educated enough in that sense. LGBTQI, he was not about they're not aware about all this. But he tried to understand. So if I'm telling this only people from cities or other metropolitan cities, they were very not. I can't discriminate in that also because I was not prepared. I was prepared to like this person will understand this thing. He literally helped me in that. So, yeah, that was the journey at that.
Yeah, so it came as a surprise, actually, it's a bias in our head, educated
Mm-hmm.
people will understand or will be having more humanity. It is, I think, very, subjective. Some people are very sensitive and some are insensitive despite having everything. Yes.
Mm-hmm.
Uh, yeah. Uh, so, which part of Assam did you say you're from?
I'm from Karimganj district. My district is Karimganj, but I'm far away from the main city of the town. It approximately take 1 hour for me to reach to the district.
So it took a long way to go back and get the documentation corrected at all the places.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, yes. Okay. So anything else you'd want to tell about your journey? When you were younger and when you were uh, initially understanding about yourself, and then how were you feeling? Because it comes as a surprise, you first have to realize that this is what I am going through, then probably explain it to your near and dear ones. So how did that go? When did you realize? How did you take ahead? How were your relatives? Were they accepting? I mean, if I'm not being too, it's not a personal question. If you'd like to answer that, because there are many people who goes through, and then I think people can relate, because when you see a strong person now,
Yeah.
we tend to forget what the person has been through to reach there. So it comes in easy
Mm.
when we see the backstory.
Okay. So I try to bridge that journey. Was in a very limited time. So it was like the realization was there. Like, I think realization has been there for like, when I was knowing about man and woman, when I see my mom and dad, when I see my sister, the realization was there that yeah, I'm not this person, I'm this person. But accepting it was a like huge task because like when you accept yourself, acceptance is making plan. So I was not accepting that I'm this person. I was just trying to blend with the social norms of men, women, and but it was not even happening. Right? Like, it's not happening. So during puberty, we all change our anatomically different our stuff. And my changes were towards see feminine side. Like I don't know, my maybe the hormones was behaving that way. So I realized that way, and obviously I had to go some basics. I won't talk about this thing here, but after that, I ran away from home. And after my class graduation, because I was mentally struggling, and I won't say I'm a victim of this and that because maybe I was not strong enough to understand anything at that time. So while I was studying, I was not that I was good enough till my class nine examination. I was always a topper, it's a five, like in study and all this purpose. But during my class examination, I had also phases which I cannot process. And for that, I secured very less marks. Although it was like I forgot the marks as well. So it was not sufficient. Like it was not sufficient enough for me to get enroll myself in some renowned colleges because unfortunately, colleges hire according to the percentage. So for that purpose, I was not selected in some renowned colleges nearby. I ran away from my village. And I reached somewhere in another city. And I called my dad and I was like, I take admission here. I wanted to study outside. I don't want to study in my neighborhood because we don't have those facilities here. I wanted to do my science period and all. And we don't have any science colleges in our city. Yeah. So I told my father and my parents that I want to study in this sector. So I need some financial help. I'll get the admission done, everything I'll be doing. So I joined the college and I was studying, but still I was not accepting myself. So those mental, pressure was there, like why I'm trying to, why I'm not being that person. In that time also I was a failure. I think there was some tech and that person was from biology faculty. like zoology faculty, and he it was from his side, which is not even acceptable. He discriminated at the incident and in my class 12 years. So, because uh, me being biased from the way maybe it was not there. So then we all rise from the medical base. So I didn't apply for that. I decided about X, Y, X, X, Y, D, I terminology. So I wanted to meet a doctor, especially an endocrinologist, and some psychologist to know what I so my endocrinologist doctor asked me to go through the karyotype test, which is those chromosomes. So I went through the test. So they detected that yes, I am that person according to them. So then I went to the psychologist psychiatrist. It took they because it won't give you the permission directly. It's a even half a time for the entire process. Uh, so it was there. It took some time for that. After that, I went to the endocrinologist. Then she gave me those prescribed medicine or some hormonal medicine to start my HR research. So that was the brief study.
Okay, so did you find it difficult that, when you were switching colleges, like, you had to change colleges, you said. So was it difficult? Because just because of you identify yourself as something, you have to give up on your dream school or dream college. So would you like the education system to be more gender neutral or non-binary? Like what
Exactly.
changes would you want to see in the education system so that it becomes easier for like everybody?
Exactly. I think this sensitization should be there in every colleges and school so that no one has to face that like they're discriminating and they're leaving their same job or dream colleges. So I took it was my dream to do my pharmaceutical degrees and all from I got selected also in some colleges. I don't think I should mention this. So during that the person asked me questions regarding like why are you so effeminate or why are you behaving in certain way, which is very relevant, right? And although it was like I was in the waiting list and like it was they had to select those people, and I thought there were questions regarding those academic sector. They were not asking me those, and I felt very disappointed and mentally I was very struggling and I got hospitalized because of that. And it took me 1.5 months to recover. I was in ICU. It was a very disturbing scenario. And I went to Guwahati. I was in this polyclinic hospital. There I met a person. She was a nurse. I was not. I was in the ICU. So when I was recovering and when I was healing, she came and asked me, and she was the first one to call me doctor. So basically, क्या हुआ तुम्हें like that was her question. So and then she said me she has done her nursing from certain colleges where she has seen someone who were undergo this thing. So she educated me. I didn't ask anything about that. So you see, right, lights come from anywhere, as you see. So she guided me and I joined that university. And happily, at that time, I became very confident because while I was in the hospital, I realized I should stand for myself. Before that, I was not even like strong enough to overcome all those hurdles, and I was just going with the flow. But then I thought just, chalo, I just go, just actually kind of planning. Yes, I completely my but at that time, I thought if I don't change myself and if I don't become strong, I can't survive in any other places. So in that hospital bed, I realized I have to stand. Uh, my parents, my father was like, "Yeah, you get admission, you get admission in here." So I did, and during my taxation and all, we also organized queer what we call it, meetup, where Melinda was the speaker and other people was there. So that was my first, me coming out. It was like creating an awareness and safe place for every individuals. And that was the first time it was happening in some university. They never had this kind of meetup or like, what do you call it? Like get together or something like that. First time it was happening, and I was appreciated. And after that, there was no such thing. Although we have some discrimination, but it was not like much that was affecting me because I was mentally prepared at the time.
So, at what age do you think school should start talking about gender and sexuality?
Actually,
Because it's a very tricky question. You say
yeah.
it's class six, but I see children understanding themselves way before that. So, what, according to you, like, what is the age when you started realizing, and what was that age in which you wanted to know more and you did not have proper authenticate sources?
So, as we have already in our textbook, like the class 7 or 6, we are taught about the chromosome XY, XXY, this, and we know those Klinefelter syndrome as well. But unfortunately, the faculty members skip that part. They don't make the student understand about all this thing. So I think during that time when you are guiding those chromosomes, I think you should be transparent about this. You shouldn't tell कि हाँ ऐसे भी कुछ होता है like this and that. You should be like guiding the student that there are the sectors where it can be changed. And I think in that time, gender and sexuality subject, it should be taught to the children so that they can understand the concept easily. And something, if I'm talking about this is something will be like those children who are mentally developed, they will get influenced about it. Why? I don't think they're getting influenced like badly impacting about it. There are certain questions when I talk about it, and they were like, if we taught children about sexuality and gender, they will get their badly impact at such a young age. You are strong enough to move from your house. I don't think people do. I think like that. I think creating awareness doesn't make you are, indulging your what you call it, knowledge or someone like you are not pushing someone to go through that. It's just you are creating a sensitization. I think it's really important.
Yes, you're absolutely correct. It's like somehow everybody has this in their mind, like, if you have this talk, you are like asking your child to like choose this. We are not having this
Yeah.
conversation to choose this. We are just telling them these are options and you have to be respectful to all of the people. So, and you cannot change a person to suddenly think suddenly think differently just because of a talk or a session. So they talk as if it's it's a trend or fashion or it's a bad influence, which is going to like penetrate their mind if we talk about it. It's
Yeah,
very
yeah.
ironic. Yeah, and then that leads the people who are actually going through this phase like at a very helpless situation. Yeah, I get that. So, do you think teachers should be educated? I'm sorry to ask, but then do you think the teachers need the
Yeah.
sensitization first so they're comfortable to like talk in the first place? So, how would you want the teachers to be like uh, educated on this?
Yeah. So,
Because sometimes they have different mindsets.
um, so while I was doing my graduation, I was financially struggling with it. So I need some, finances and all. So what I did is like, I made an ad on some application I forgot. So that you can seek a private tutor for this and that. I was teaching biology and this. So I got some calls and this. So I was teaching. Uh, so and during that time, already they have passed class 11, 12. Sorry, class 10 they have passed. They are now 11, 12. So I have to guide some adults. They're not like children. They're not kids. So they already know chromosome and all that. So while I was guiding them, they didn't know about me. They were like, "Ma'am, how you guide?" Because they're in this production part, the chromosome was or else they're not being taught of it. So I was trying to make them understand in my own way. So I think teachers should not avoid this kind of conversation. They have to be like try to talk about sexuality and gender, I we individual, if you're not aware of about all these things, so how will people accept it? For example, if in my college also, in my college class and 12 also, they are like, it has not been taught. If we talk about all these things, it's all about them skipping those parts, skipping those, although it is there in the textbook. They don't need them, they're not teaching that part. So I think teachers should make those changes, and I think they should lead the sensation. They should be aware of these things. And yeah, these are the changes we have to do in education system as
And then let's like we are having a beautiful conversation. I'm liking this. Like though we started with documentation,
well.
then switched to the corporate, and then we are touching like
Mm.
personal journey and then education. So let's not leave out healthcare sector. So what do you want to see changes in the healthcare sector? Or like where the doctor is very accommodating, where the healthcare people very understanding, or did you see like they were also because we are brought up in the society influences us. So, though we
Mm.
are very inclusive as a country, sometimes people's own judgments like tend to make you biased. So, did you find any biases in the healthcare system?
Fortunately not. I was like, while my friend, she was guiding, I told her she's, but because she has already gone through the journey. So she already recommended me this doctor, this endocrinologist, this person and all. And uh, since she has already met those person, they were aware about this. So while I was going through the appointment thing and all, I didn't feel any bias and all. And I got whatever I needed help in this part, Assam itself. But moving to South, I feel little, for example, if we're in, some people can't afford all those appointment fee and all in private sector, like hospital. If you're going to see a doctor in private hospital, I think it will charge some 2K, 2,000 bucks or something like that in south side. So sometimes it's not even affordable for any other person. Like if we are talking about Guwahati or Assam, there's a hospital called GS, which is government hospital, and you go through that, you just make a ticket at but it's still it's different. But see, doctors, like talking to some doctor or some official, they are not charging for that. So I think that was a help I got from Assam, and I was not in from South. Maybe it is there. I was not aware. I'm not sure about it. I don't want to pass account for that. So I searched a lot about to see doctor, see endocrinology because I was living in South for a long time and I didn't get help as of now. So I think there should be a sector for the government sector because most of people can't afford, this consulting charges. Receiving charges is, I think some NGOs providing the charges and for consultation, I think there should.
Okay, we lost Anaya. I will wait for a few minutes. Yes, Anaya, can you hear us?
Yes, I think I'm really sorry for the network. I don't have Wi-Fi in my videos. So
That's
I
okay.
have come for a
That's
vacation.
okay.
Yeah.
Okay. So, yes. Yeah, we were talking about the healthcare sector. Yes. So you want the government facilities to be available so that it becomes accessible for everybody.
Everyone, yes, yes. For example,
Yes, yes.
consultation and all, uh, it's there in Assam. I have done my consultation from Mumbai and from making a child and all. It's there in Assam psychology, psychiatry, center, everything is there. I think it's there in South also, but I was searching where the first thing we search is Google, right? So I was searching consultation and all. So, but I was not getting help. Neither I was calling some NGOs and all in Assam, and they were asking for private like this consultation and all, which may charge like $1,000. I think it should be there in local hospital as well.
Yes, yes. Yeah. Okay. One more question about the gender neutral toilets. You
Mm,
said about corporate sectors having gender neutral toilets. While we expect India to
mm,
have gender neutral toilets, uh, I have seen many countries not having them. And when I say many countries, they're like developed countries or like the Western
mm,
countries whom we call the so-called elite. But then they don't
mm,
have gender neutral toilets because sometimes the corporate employers, they tend to think like, a transgender person has transformed to a particular gender. So they should be okay with the toilets, for the gender what they are assigned. So how do you feel about that?
mm. Yeah, exactly. It's there. For example, if I'm talking about me, I don't go to that kind of I'm not that sector of washroom, neutral gender neutral washroom because I have always went to because in my colleges and all there was like man and women washroom. So I always went to the washroom which I am assigned to. I feel like going, and I was not stopped by that. When I was doing my master's and all, I was not ask a question to that why you are doing it. No one asked. And even in my offices and all, if I'm going to that washroom, no one asked. But for example, if someone is not comfortable, I'm talking about people who are not comfortable. For those people, I'm talking. For example, if they are not stereotypically look alike, like a gender, what, what you say, a man or woman, if they don't look alike or they don't want to look like that person, and they're not comfortable in going to the washroom. So I think for that people, that section of people, they should have a washroom which they feel like needs. For that purpose, I'm talking about.
Yes, I get that. I get your point. What you're meaning is that we always think a transgender person should like transform into a male or a female, but then we are totally omitting the factor that the transgender person can choose to remain gender neutral.
Needs, yes.
Or like gender fluid is a better word, right? So yeah, we
Mm-hmm.
were skipping when you do not have. I get your point. Yes, yes. I think when we pointed out the problems here, like in the corporate or like not problems, but the like like the things we face difficulty is in. So in the corporate or in the healthcare or in the education. So I think there is one thing common is like nobody wants to talk about it. No, because like even if somebody understands, like you had found out many friendly people in many places, but then we can't advertise it that we are like friendly, yeah, we are accommodating, the transgender people because I think if we do that, people are like of the notion that like we are normalizing it and they don't want to normalize it or become
Mm-hmm.
inclusive. So that's the
Yes,
change
yes.
probably would like to see. Yes, yes, yeah.
For
So it was
example,
lovely
when
talking
I
to you. Yeah.
so
Yes, tell me,
one
tell me.
one one thing I have to mention is like for like most of us we apply online for job, right? We go through the advertisement and we apply online. While applying online, we provide the documents here. So some people for that purpose of talking, like documents are not changed yet, or some may have changed few documents and some are there. So for that purpose, I think there should be a column to submit the affidavit form so that it don't make any changes because sometimes it happens like we are providing few documents with our, you know, naming it like the previous name or what we call it a date name and we are, known for this new name or new changes and all. So it's a mismatch, like there are two, three different documents. So for that, I think there should be a column where we can pay, submit the affidavit form And there will be no, like, for after that, there will be no such questions coming around from these people who are hiring, like, why these documents are different? Because I have faced that people used to ask me, why these documents are different and why these are not.
Yes, you're correct. Because if they're just looking at the documents, they might simply think like, these are wrong documents or accidentally came, and they would outright reject the application form. So sending supporting documents is like, yes, if that option is there, then you can at least send your supporting documents explaining why you have such a situation. Yeah, you're correct. Yeah,
Yes,
that is something we should. It is we have to do the awareness. So we who have to be, talking all the time. That was lovely talking to you, and I'm sure many people today have understood a lot from you, and I know it's like, yeah, I understand. Thank you so much. It was lovely having you, lovely
thank,
talking with you. Good day.
thank you so much. Thank you so much for giving me the space to talk, and I hope that you'll get time and get courage